when I got my first, I was telling you about it yesterday, my first Broadway show, there was a poster shop on 16th Street that had a big, beautiful old poster of Contempt, Bardot. It was a big, beautiful watercolor of Brigitte Bardot, and I loved that poster. I loved that movie. I was like, I'm buying a movie poster.
Yes.
And I hung it in my kitchen.
Still there.
It's still there. Yeah. But
Really?
And I got it cheap because they'd framed it wrong. It was kind of crooked, and so the guy gave me a deal, and I was like, I'm getting this. It was expensive, at the time it was really expensive. But I'd walked by it for a couple of years, and I was like, I want that poster.
That's really cool.
And I got it.
That's classy.
So when you first had the idea to make this, and you knew you wanted Ethan, but you were too young, right? Was that what it was?
It was
Still too young.
technically he was young when he first read what I sent him. But
what he sent me wasn't even really a movie. Too handsome. I was too handsome.
Yeah.
I was too good looking for the part.
Far too good.
And it's,
Yeah.
it's something I just have to suffer with. But it wasn't even. It wasn't just me. It was developing the material. And developing it into what is this a movie? Could it be a movie? Right? Am I?
right, yeah, it was kind of just a lot of writing about Lorenz Hart, which we loved. Everything in the movie was kind of there. I grew up in Texas. I never went to a lot of live performances, but my mom loved musicals, so it was just listening to Rodgers and Hammerstein soundtracks in my living room my entire youth. So
My mother was the same way.
Really?
Yeah, Oklahoma, South Pacific, Carousel. There was
music.
just the LPs.
Yeah.
She'd just play them and sing her heart out. The Sound of Music was my sexual awakening. I was just in love. That girl sings, I'm 16
going
going,
on
oh my
17.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I just loved her. I love Liesl.
I was in love with Julie Andrews.
Yeah. Christopher Plummer always called that movie S&M.
He does?
I'm not really into S&M.
Sorry, it's going to be your epitaph. When I got into Lorenz Hart in my 20s, and Rodgers and Hart kind of through this Ella Fitzgerald album, the songbooks, it took me a while to realize it was the same Rodgers that I'd grown up with Hammerstein, that there was this earlier period with Lorenz Hart lyrics. I couldn't believe it was the same guy. And I was like, wow, what a career that he
It's
could
two
have.
legendary careers.
Two distinct careers. He's really stunning. I think he's one of the greatest composers of the 20th century.
What felt most different for you three about making this movie compared to other productions?
Well, it's a film about the theatre in some ways. And so, it was really exciting to, sometimes the obstacle of not having a huge amount of time can make it really exciting and dynamic. And Ethan and I had to establish this feeling of a long, complex relationship. Friendship in movies is something that I think is really captivating to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of full circle moment for me because Ethan and I really got to know each other making a play.
What play was it?
Hurley.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And it was a really unique moment in our lives that we've shared, and that's how I met Rick. I met Rick because he came to see the play a couple times, and so here we are now making a play about the theater and theater people, and very few directors like to rehearse, and it's hard for them to get actors to come and rehearse. It's hard for there aren't many directors who do like to rehearse. And so there was that process, coming to Dublin early and rehearsing the scenes, and it felt just really special in that way.
And I think for me, what's different about it is kind of the evolution of my experience acting for Rick. It's just we were taking something, a kind of style and a kind of thought methodology, and we were pushing it even further than we'd ever done before.
Something I loved about the movie was just like thinking about what it would be like to be in that time, go to Sardi's afterwards, be, hobnobbing. People don't really do that anymore, or do they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Premiere is
I guess after premiere.
Still have opening night premieres, opening night parties at Sardi's, and that whole world of having people backstage and like
reviews coming
I had
in.
just been to an opening night at Sardi's. my daughter Maya had an opening of Wes Anderson's film that was at Sardi's.
Oh, was
And
it really?
And he's so interested in the period that I almost felt like I was going back in time at that opening. So it for real still happens.
Yeah, we go. There's still the theater haunts.
We went there. We went there for a
Joellen.
drink before we flew to Ireland.
Did you really?
Yeah.